Howard Phillips Lovecraft, usually shortened to just H.P. Lovecraft or just Lovecraft, is someone who, especially as of late, has been a huge inspiration in the fields of horror and sci-fi. He has had a kind of Vincent van Gogh effect, where he wasn't very popular during his actual lifetime, but years after his death in 1937, his work has inspired a whole mythos of things. Since the Fallout timeline diverges in 1947, Lovecraft was most likely in this world. Something that has been inspired by the ideas Lovecraft introduced, Bethesda's Fallout. Now, I do stress Bethesda, reason being Interplay and Obsidian did not seem to put any Lovecraft references in Fallout 1, 2, Brotherhood, or New Vegas. So for the sake of this video, I will only be focusing on the games Bethesda developed themselves. Which is good because Bethesda references Lovecraft a lot, leaving a lot of evidence that maybe the Fallout world is a little more eldritch than we thought. This is the series where mutated creatures roam a post-apocalyptic wasteland, and people have a fucking cult around glowing radiation and even aliens who may actually be the cause of the world becoming the way it is. To kick this hypothesis off, we go to a North End Boston neighborhood to take a nice visit to an independent artist who seems to be having some trouble with a group of raiders. Now, these raiders must either really hate art or are just still mad about Banksy shredding a $1.4 million piece. After dispatching of the art haters, we make our way into Pickman's gallery. At least the admission is free. Now, if you have traveled around the Commonwealth and fought raiders, you might have picked up something called Pickman's calling card. It's just a piece of paper with a heart that says, "Find me." Upon picking up the said card, you never expect to see what you do when you track him down. A raider-infested apartment building with strange, odd, fucked up pieces of art, but you have to hand it to Pickman. It's still probably the best art in the waste. As we delve down through a hole into the basement of a sort, we eventually find Pickman being confronted by a raider named Slab and two others. After we ice the raiders, and if Pickman survives, we get to talk to him. He reveals that these raiders were not very happy with his works, and he says he thanks us, hands us a key, tells us to come back another time and look behind a painting called Stanley's Picnic, while also giving us the cool name Killer. Now, this whole thing is almost a direct reference to Lovecraft's story Pickman's Model, a short story about Richard Upton Pickman, which is a reference to names from the Salem witch trials. Ironic how you could get a reference inception here. Perhaps we will talk about Salem another time, though. Lovecraft's story follows a narrator, Thurber, writing a monologue on weird and unusual art. Pickman, who was recently cut out of a Boston art club, has been known to start making odd and unsettling art. Pickman and Thurber travel through Pickman's personal gallery and go deeper and deeper into Pickman's basement. The art gets more and more horrific, and in the end, Thurber pulls out a piece of paper off of the last painting while Pickman goes to shoot some rats. The picture reveals the subject of the piece to not be diseased rats, but real, actual monsters. Maybe we should bring Piper with us the next time, and maybe she'll get a good story about Pickman killing raiders for inspiration. Now, the next bit of evidence comes from everyone's favorite freakout location in the Commonwealth, the Dunwich Boars dig site. Right off the back, Bethesda did not try to hide a reference at all. This location is reference to another one of Lovecraft's work, the Dunwich Horror. Sounds pretty close to the Boars, right? Close name is about all the place shares with the original story. The Dunwich building in the Capital Wasteland has a similar experience we will get into later. Now, my last bit of evidence for this is the Dunwich building and Point Lookout. The Dunwich building is also in reference to the Dunwich Boars because it's the company that did so. And the building in the Capital Wasteland seems to have some kind of similar horror-esque thing going on inside of it. Now, with the Point Lookout DLC, that entire DLC is basically just a Lovecraft story. It follows the events of the Necronomicon, and it's pretty much just a blatant, this is Lovecraft. Now, you may be asking why I didn't mention Far Harbor. Well, the simple answer is that it more aligns with reference to Stephen King the whole mist fog and taking place in Maine is a dead ringer for King. But Stephen King has said on several occasions that Lovecraft was one of his biggest influences, so there's no reason it couldn't meld together. So maybe with all of this evidence, the Fallout universe's Lovecraft might have been less of a writer and more of a prophet. There is a staggering amount of evidence that maybe Fallout World is more cosmic than we thought. Uh, so this video is actually to remake one that I made in 2016, which is the most viewed video on the channel at the time. It was really bad. I didn't know what I was doing. It took me forever to get back to doing this, and I hope you like it. I just want to do more of this stuff. Hopefully I can get better at video editing. Just tell me in the comments on what I can improve. If there's anything I missed, how bad my videos are, because I'm really bad at doing all this. And I hope you enjoyed, and please, stay horrifying.